Hey, what's going on, YouTube? What's happening? Let's see if we get anybody up in here. Here, let me put this on here. Brian, what's happening? How are we doing tonight? I don't know. We're doing all right. We're have been on YouTube in a long time, right? So that's a first. Been really busy. Can't get on YouTube a lot, right? Because we're building a company, and it takes a lot of time and effort. And we got Snorlord. He's working hard. Um, Great bunch of contractors. What's up, Lake Bright? Jerome Jones. What's happening? Yeah, we're back. Um, so the industry has been going through a lot of different changes, right? We're going a lot to AI. If you notice that, if you deal in the spot market, a lot of these companies, everything's going digital. So a lot of these main brokers are, a lot of them are going to be without a job pretty soon because they're going digital. So with their apps and everything. A lot of these companies that have a lot of agents, you'll see less agents, and then you'll be dealing basically with a computer when you put in bids on your loads and everything. So a lot of things are going to be changing over the next few years. What's up, Real RD? What's going on? I don't know who this guy is, but I know who Triple T is right there at that truck stop. I think you stole my logo. No, just kidding. I had that at one of them though, no, one of my deals. But that's a great truck stop. Have you ever been to Triple T? Home of the Mile High Pie. That's what they say anyway. If you ever been in there, you might have seen it. Let's see if I can get this up here. Turn that volume off so I can look at the chat and see what's going on. So we are growing. If you want to come over here, all you got to do is go to our website and apply. And I'll shoot that up there. If anybody doesn't know what it is, there it is. We'll put RD up here in the top. There, we'll put some people up at the top. Looking good. Well, not really. I need to lose some weight. That's what I need to do. Uh, what's up, Ken? What's happening down there in the Motor City? It says, Ken from Michigan, I was wondering if you have room for another truck. Well, I do, Ken. Um, Anytime you want to come back over, you're more than welcome. We do have room. We have trailers. I am going to look into getting some more trucks here in the near future, but I'm going to do it a different way, though. We are kind of redoing that setup on lease purchase type of stuff. We're going to try something different and new. We've been testing it, so we'll see. We'll see what happens in the next couple months on that aspect of it. OX1216 is selling their authority. If you're interested, you can probably contact him and buy his authority if you want it. Well, so is he making RD feel special? Well, here, we'll put him back up there. Here, we'll make him feel really good. Um, we'll move him around like this, get everybody dizzy. Then you can blame an RD. If you stop by the Triple T, I'm sure RD will meet you over there, buy you a Mile High Pie, sit down and talk to you for a while. But I don't get that Arizona much anymore, so it's probably not going to be me sitting there at that table. Didn't make it to the truck show last year. I don't know if I'll go this year coming up. I might not. Just depends. We got a lot of things going on, so we'll do that. Haven't been on there for a long time because, like I said, I've been busy building this company and rebuilding a house. So that takes a lot of time. And if you're my age, let me give you a hint of advice. Do not rebuild a house. better to hire somebody, but you know, uh, it is what it is. So that's coming into the final stages. We still have the main floor is almost done, right? Almost got that completed. Uh, got a few more things to do there, and then the lower level we got to do that, and then the upper level we'll finish doing that. So there you go. Last time I was in there, they still had the wall and phone jacks for the payphones. Well, do they still have the TVs at the tables? You put the quarter in. Remember the old 76s, the orange balls? You know, this is for guys like me and RD that are like from the Stone Age. You used to roll into the 76. Everybody ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner in the truck stops, and you had the little TV there. You put a quarter in. Well, not nobody eats at the truck stops anymore, right? Because it's too expensive. Most people eat in their trucks. But back in the day, you ate 2 to 3 meals there, and it was pretty much inexpensive. But nowadays, if you do that, you're going to go broke. Okay, so what you're saying to me, RD, is if I told you I was going to be there Monday at noon, meet me there for lunch, you wouldn't leave around 9 o'clock in the morning and drive there and meet me there for lunch? Is that what you're saying? What's up, Wheel Burner Express? What's happening? I'm not going to go up on the bridge this winter. It was cold. What's up, that one guy? What's happening? Two Broke Tim. What's up? See, I can't be saying Two Broke Tim. It's Car Hauler Tim. Retired back in March. Couldn't pass the physical anymore. Hey, at least you retired, Tim. You made it that far, right? But we'll call you Car Hauler Tim because that's what I remember you best as. See you later, Rebecca. See ya, Trent. So that's what I remember you best as. And if you remember back, it was years and years ago. We met at the Love's Truck Stop in Jacksonville, Florida. And I believe I bought you a candy bar and a soda that day. I believe Car Hauler Tim. Do you remember that? I remember that. That was a long time ago. I mean, we're going back 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going back at least a decade, right? Remember the 24-ounce T-bone at Petro for $10. RD, man, what are you trying to show our age? Is that what you're trying to do? I remember way back when you had to buy the trailer permit to go into California. It was only good for what, 33 days, 72 hours or something like that. Um, that's, I remember that, right? You had to buy that stupid trailer permit. I think it was $5. It was a little blue permit. You filled it out. You tore one copy off, stuck it in the trailer. And then if you were going to be there more than 3 days, you had to put another one in there. Remember that stuff? And then the old 49er, is that still around? Let's see what's going on with Ox. He says, back in 2017, you helped me build my authority. Thank you. Appreciate it. We try to help everybody out, right? Like, comment, subscribe. Back 100 years ago. That's about what it was. No, we do not haul hazmat, Jerome. One, those loads don't pay anything unless you have a dedicated customer, right? And you negotiate the rates. But most hazmat loads don't pay what it's worth to get the insurance liability, right? I mean, you get a hazmat permit, no problem. But the problem is, one, DOT looks at you more, right, when you go in the weigh stations and everything. You got to make sure that everybody's up to speed on it. And two, if that trailer leaks or an accident happens and you're hauling a hazmat, it's not worth it. The loads aren't worth it. Those loads should pay a lot more. So if your average load is paying like $2.50 a mile, hazmat loads should be paying 6, 7, $8 a mile. They should be double or triple. They should. Just because if something happens, you ever seen a hazmat cleanup bill? Uh, but there you go. That is why so many registered their trailers in California, right? I'm waiting for them to take off the restrictions of the air. You know, the stupid. Hold on, what's RD saying? Hold on. The stupid restrictions on the trailers, right? Where you got the skirts or the air dams underneath. You see them. They got the little curve down there, and they got the wings on the side of the trailers, and they got the stupid wings that are on the back doors. I'd be glad when they get that garbage taken care of, so you don't have to put that on your truck anymore. And of course, it isn't going to be good when they get rid of DEF, because that is a scam. And one part is, if you see how much DEFs went up a gallon. That stuff does not cost the truck stop that. That's their money hole. Because you get DEF for, if you buy it in bulk. Yeah, I got a buddy that has a terminal right down the road from me, trucking terminal, and he's got a tank there, bulk DEF. And he basically gets it for, what did he say it was? He said it was $2.10 a gallon. That's what he buys it for. But truck stops are charging 3 something, $4. It's a scam. Let's see, DF kills trees. That's what RD says. 15-year nightmare. Yeah, it's terrible. Shoot, we got some more text coming in. Hold on a minute. See, we're always busy. I don't get time to do anything. Let's see. So a lot of things going on around here. You know, our grandson, he's off at college. He left last week. We miss him. And our granddaughter, you know, she's 18 now, so she's out doing her thing. So it's getting kind of quiet around here. I'm gonna give you a call tomorrow. When is a good time to call? Let me think. I got some appointments I got to make in the morning. Another one in the around noon or so. 1, 2. Anytime after 2 o'clock, 1400. Ken, call me anytime after 1400, and we'll do some talking then. New office? No, this is the same one that I've done that with. I've redone some stuff in here though. I redone this wall in front of me, the wall over there. I was gonna do something with that brick, but I figured I'd just leave the brick like it is. I was gonna put a big monitor on the back there. Maybe like interactive if I started doing YouTube more, but I have the printer there, right, to do decals. I do all the truck decals there. So, you know, people want different color decals, you know, we'll do it, but we have to run the contrast in Google first to make sure that it's a big enough contrast in the color of their truck, or DOT will write you up and tell you need new decals, right? So that's the problem. You might think that color is a big enough contrast, and you can read it from 50 feet because that's the rule, right? You got to be able to see it from 50 feet, but it also says that it has to be a contrasting color. So they actually go on there and they look up the contrast. And of course, it gives it numbers. And if it doesn't have a good enough contrast, they can do two things. They'll either, just write you up, put you, give you a violation for it, tell you to change it, or if you get somebody that's really mean and doesn't want it to work, then a lot of them will, some of them will say, well, can't go anywhere until you change it. And, don't argue with them. Say, what, are you blind? I can see that from 50 feet. I'm standing right here. Plus, you got to make sure it's so many inches, at least so many inches tall, your letters, and so forth. Because if they wanted to get picky, they could go up there and measure them. So that's why it's nice that, you can print your own decals out. I used to have somebody do that for us. But the problem I had then was, if you ran out of decals and they were on vacation or, they were doing something or you needed a rush, job so you can get another contractor signed on, they weren't available. You had to wait. So I bought a machine myself and been printing the decals and everything for the last 5 years. Tracy says, hope you're doing well. Great channel. Thank you. Yeah, we're doing great. How about yourself? All the trees along the interstate started dying as they started cutting them down. Well, where you live, Artie, there's not a lot of trees, is there? Yeah, well, it's been a minute. Yeah, it's been a minute. I haven't been on here really. It's been about a year. Actually, it's been about a year. I've taken some time off of YouTube to concentrate more on the business and other things that we had going on that we wanted to do. And, I wanted to get this house done because the boss wanted the house remodeled. And, yeah, it's been an experience. I'm not young anymore. If I was 20 years ago or 25 years ago, rebuilding a house, no problem. No problem. But when you're my age, you do the work. I don't know, some of you old guys might understand. You do the work and then the next day you wake up and you can barely get out of bed because you're like, oh, why is that muscle hurting? Why is this hurting? Didn't hurt when you're doing this stuff, right? But yeah, and a good thing about it, when you do rebuilding is that you have all the tools, which I had all the tools. So, you have all the right saws and equipment, right electrical equipment, if you're doing all the electrical work, and so forth. If you're doing everything yourself and you have all the right stuff, that's good. Now, the inspectors, you got to make sure you do that. So if you want to do your own electrical work, it's not that hard. Just buy the code book, read it, and you should be all right. But it's dry, man. If you read that book, it's terrible. It'll put you to sleep. I'm sure it's coincidence when trees started dying when they instituted DF. Well, it is chemical, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't come out the pipes. They ever taken a sample to see if it's even blowing that stuff out? I don't know. Let's see what else we got here. We do use, our factoring company. We've been with Thunder Funding since day one. They are the best in the business. I don't care what anybody says. They're great people. And they can answer any of your stuff. And of course, if you notice, I changed the name of the channel. I went back to a regular name. And that is our logo, right? If you see it. So the channel name. and it's going to stay this name. I'm not going to change it again. Went away from Truckers Education Network because, we'll still educate on here, and we'll still do like an old whiteboard session. We'll bring back some of the past and do that and help out a lot of guys and gals out there, that are into this business and they want to be owner operators, or they are owner operators and they're struggling, right? It is a struggle. And we can still teach, and hopefully people listen, right? Hopefully they listen. What's up, Keith? What's happening? Reading requires an attention span. Yeah, it does. And my attention span on that book is really short. And I have the book somewhere. It was laying here on my desk. But I cleaned my desk off, so I probably put it over in the filing cabinet. It's a big book and it's boring. Well, actually, it's right here. Actually, I've seen it. It's actually right. It's actually this book right here. And, go through and read all that. And you put all these little color code stickers on here so you know exactly where to go, if you want to install something, right? And then you can read it. But there's the book. It's 2023 edition. That's the newest edition out. It's a National Electrical Code book. So if you ever want to do any electrical work, get this book, read up on it. Because a lot of people do the stuff, but it doesn't mean it's correct. If it is different. What's up, Rob? How's it going? Let's see what Rob's got to say. All right, there's Don. What's up, Don? Ain't seen you in a while. Gary, good evening. Gary, I see you're at a new place. Hopefully it's going well for you. We wish you the best. And Gary Bates. Dang, it's been a year. You've been away. Yeah, it's been about a year. I mean, I came on here once or twice maybe, but I did like a couple little info, reels. Put one on Facebook. I don't know if I put it on here or not, but I just did an info reel. Yeah, Keith, I sold the sled 2 days ago. I have to tell you about that. Did different work last 5 years. Seems that no money and nothing. Already falling asleep. Well, you gotta work tomorrow. I gotta go to the VA tomorrow. That's one of my things. I gotta go up there, and then I gotta stop by the dealership, get some work done on the truck, and so forth. You are one of the last trucking businesses on YouTube still going, says Manny. I appreciate that. Like I said, we are growing. We are looking for more contractors. But I tell everybody, if you apply, when you go to the website, read. If you don't read the qualifications to come over here, you're not going to be able to come over here. We don't take just anybody. There's a lot of companies out there, especially small ones, they'll take anybody. We won't. If you're a job hopper, if you don't stay somewhere long, we look at that. It's right in the qualification list. We only accept individuals if they've only had so many jobs in so many years. If you had a lot of jobs in a year or 2 years or 3 years, thanks for applying, but it's not going to work. We're looking for the specific business individuals that want to partner in the business. And of course, they get the help from me and Snorlord and everybody else that over here that is doing it. And if you want to grow and buy some trucks and put some people in them and do that, We have contractors that are doing that also, because we're a family and that's how we run it. Yeah, yeah, we got rid of it. I wasn't going to sell it. I put it up there for a high price, and I just told everybody I don't need to sell it. I'll just ride it. I got another one sitting out there in the pole barn anyway. Um, that I got to work on. So if you know anything about them, give me a call because I got to figure something out on this one sled. And it's probably because I haven't rode that one in 10 years. I think 10 years is the last time I rode that. But I think the clutch is stuck on it because it probably just rusted shut. Take it easy, LFA. I just want to watch some MASH. All right. Yeah, you go watch some Radar. We'll see you later. Man, he's old. No, we're supposed to have more time when we get older. And the reason why I says, I said Keith and Mary sold theirs. I told Karen, I said, why are we keeping it? We'll get rid of it. And if we ever want to go again, we can always just buy another one. Or better yet, we could just go for a weekend and just rent them. That way we just drive up there. I don't have to pull a trailer, all that stuff. Just rent them. What do you think about that? What do you think about that, Keith? We just rent one for 3 or 4 days. Who else is on here? Let's see. Yeah, so if you want to come over here, like I said, all you gotta do is apply, and you go to that website and apply. And of course, 123 Load Board, those folks are still uh, doing well, posting loads on the board. And if you want to sign up with them, you can go ahead and sign up. There's a code. Uh, Talk to Lauren and the gang over there, and they can get you hooked up. And of course, trucking office. This is the main part if you're going to be in this business. And I see so many people fail, and the reason why they fail is they don't know their numbers. Trucking office, Alan over there has a great program, right? There's the code, and hopefully that code still works. They run it, they got a great program. They enhance their program. They try to make it better every year. They just got the RateCon scanning where you can scan it in and it puts your trip in, all that good stuff, fills it all in for you right from the RateCon. That's a great feature. And for that price that they charge, that is a really good price because a lot of them you have to go higher up in price wise per month to get that feature. So, and the reason why people fail is they don't know their numbers. And without a program, some type of spreadsheet, I like these programs here because one, it gives you everything you need to know about your business, just not a spreadsheet. And if you do your calculation wrong in your spreadsheet, how do you know it's wrong if you don't double check, and so forth? So get yourself a good program, whether it's trucking office, one of the other ones, whatever it is, just get a program to help you with your business too. Then you can do your own taxes and so forth because a lot of people use tax accountants, but you ask them, how your business is doing, they don't know. They got to ask somebody else. Well, how do you know? That's not a very good business model if you don't know exactly where your business stands every minute of the day. Shadow Wolf, what's happening? Hey, are you still up in Canada? You still up in Canada? I see you have Starlink, right? You're using the Starlink. Uh, if anybody doesn't know, old Shadow Wolf got rid of the Templar. So I can still remember back in the day. And now he's doing the van life, right? He's out there in the van, traveling around, enjoying life. And I believe you were in Michigan over on the other side of the state. And I was going to come over and see you, but I was doing some stuff that weekend. I believe you made it over here. Kevin says QuickBooks. QuickBooks, no. QuickBooks is not a trucking, doesn't tell you what you're doing in trucking. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I use QuickBooks uh, just to keep track of the money part of it when you do the taxes and stuff. But QuickBooks is going to tell you what your rate per mile is, your average rate per mile, your cost per mile is, your expense per mile, right? Like trucking office will break all that down, everything to the mile. So it'll tell you if your truck insurance is 1.5 cents a mile, insurance is so many cents a mile. You know, it can break everything down. So it'll tell you where your expenses are per mile, what your profit per mile is, and so forth. And QuickBooks can't do that. And it keeps track of all your loads and and all that stuff. And you can just type it in there. It keeps track of all the brokers you haul for, if you haul for brokers. And that's a good way to also, if you're a owner operator of a company, let's say you're at one of these big megas. It's a good way to keep track of your settlements to make sure they are charging you correctly. Because I knew someone that was somewhere doing a lease purchase, and they say, "Can you check out my pay settlement?" And boy, what a lot of smoke and mirrors that thing was. And they're paying a whole lot more money than they thought, and getting charged a whole lot more money than what they're supposed to be getting charged. Uh, so yeah, you got to do your due diligence and get something to help you out. So QuickBooks is good. I mean, it's like I said, it's okay. I do use it, but I also use a trucking program to let me know where the trucking part of it's doing. And then I just had the QuickBooks because it's linked to the bank accounts and business cards and everything else. So it's easy. It just goes in there. And the trucking software can link to QuickBooks. So then if it's all linked into QuickBooks, it just organizes it more from the financial standpoint. So you can do your corporate taxes if you file your own corporate taxes, and you can do your personal taxes, because it has everything there for you. This is how I got roped into buying sleds the first time when we were supposed to go motorcycling in Florida. Well, we could do motorcycling in Florida. We have, Keith, now we have some trailers that can haul a lot of motorcycles because we get rid of all the snowmobiles. We already have the motorcycles. I'm not going to say how many you have, how many Harley Davidsons you have in your pole barn out there. I'm not going to say how many, but you got some nice old ones. Are you still fixing on that one? You do have a bunch of those, so we can round up a few of them. I have some. Put them in there, and we could just all pile in the RV, pull the trailer with motorcycles in it, and go down to Florida for the winter. Wouldn't that be nice? You remember? So anybody that does snowmobiling in the UP admission got to be out of their mind, right? You got to be crazy, because he's going to be sitting there, and I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over one of these years. He doesn't know exactly what I'm talking about. So we go on up there, and we're outside of a town called Munising. And we're at these cabins. We rent this cabin. We show up at this cabin, and it's like 20 below zero. The winds are going 40 and 50 miles an hour. So and the snow's blowing. So it's like 50, 60 below zero or some garbage. And we wake up that morning and we go out there. And Keith grabs the back of the sled, lifts it up and slams it down to get the ice to break out of the track and everything. I do that. When we look, he shows us, yeah, let's not go anywhere today. So we went into town, did some shopping, went and had some barbecue ribs at this restaurant I took him to. Yeah, that was a brutal week because I don't think we seen above zero until the last day, I think it was. And it was like 10 degrees out. And here we are, we got our coats unzipped, we're riding down trails. We thought we were in summertime when it hit 10 degrees after being below zero all week long. And the second day, we went out, we went anyway, right? We took off and went anyway because we're there. So we sledded, you know, and it's an expensive sport. Uh, we could go into the helmet thing, right? Because we buy a different helmet every single year thinking we get the best one out there. But finally, we found one. There is one helmet out there that can't be beat. And we haven't bought another helmet since. And I still have mine. I got all my gear because, we still have one sled sitting out there in the pole barn. Um, but yeah, 2014, the highs were negative. Yeah, the highs were a -4. See, he remembers. See, he remembers. And Dana wants to know if that's when I hit the railroad tracks. Remember that, Keith? The railroad track incident. Good thing I had the power wagon with the winch. Uh, what's up, Juan? Haven't seen Juan in a while. How's California doing? What's going on, Brian? Is Fogline Software still in business? Trying to find it online, couldn't find it. No, it's tragedy. Brian, Ray White, he passed away. A great guy, right? With the software and stuff, trying to help out truckers for years. Ray did pass away last year, and his wife, they turned the company off because he's the one. He was Fogline Software. He passed. So once he passed, there was no more Fogline Software. So yeah, that's what happened there. So now you know. So we can't say, that's why I say, yeah, I would say, check out Ray's program if you don't want to pay a monthly fee because it was a program. So, he passed, it's not on there no more. And so there'd be no more updates and so forth. So that software is gone. Let's see here. Well, yeah, I had to bring up the helmet. So what was it? I remember that one time. It was so cold out, right? We come in. I just tossed my helmet on the ground. We went inside the cabin. Remember that, Keith? We went inside the cabin. I just tossed my helmet on the ground, and it broke. The shield shattered and everything. Uh, so we had to go into town and buy some parts, or I forgot what we did that day, to get the helmet to where they could at least wear it. Yeah, well, the helmets. Well, you know, Keith's got a retirement in helmets. That's all I gotta say. Even the Upers were complaining about the cold. Yes, they were. It was so bad. We went right next door. So the cabins were there. There was a motel right there in the corner, and then you had just right down the street. You had the snowmobile shop. We went over to the snowmobile shop and we're looking at gear. Just looking around, something to do. And this guy comes in. Frostbite. Remember that? Remember that guy, Keith? Frostbite all the way down his neck. Because he thought he wasn't going very far. He just lived down the street. He was going to ride a snowmobile up to the shop and hang out and talk to people. But just that short ride, he got frostbite all over his neck. Yeah, 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 yeah. Talk about the trail. What's up, Mr. Misunderstood? What's happening? If there's a helmet gimmick, he's a first in line. Well, we found the right helmet. It's the oxygen helmet. Be it Skidoo, BRP makes what they call the oxygen. it's the best helmet out there because you don't have that stupid face mask. And if you get the one helmet, you don't have that stupid diaper you got to change out and everything. Yeah, 15-minute ride and his neck was black. It was terrible. Unbelievable. What time is it? 8:53? No, so I'm gonna have to get going because I got to go pick up uh, my granddaughter from where she's at and give her a ride back home. And we'll come back on here. We'll do this again. We'll do some talking more about business and what the trucking industry is doing and what the rates are doing, and what they're not doing, right? What they're not doing. And we can, tell why it's really not supply and demand, because that's what everybody says, right? Supply and demand, supply and demand. That's why rates. Well, when rates are lower than what they were, go back as far as you want. Uh, this is the only business that does that. It makes no sense. Because if you take a look at McDonald's, and if they want to raise their Big Mac up to, Big Mac meal up to $10 or $12, just because the price of hamburger meat goes up, and then when it goes down, they keep it there. And the demand isn't there for it; they just keep it there. People still buy it. Same thing with restaurants. They charge 90 cents more an egg. Egg prices went down. They're still charging 90 cents more an egg. Why? Because people will buy it. So we're the only business to where the carrier doesn't say, no, I'm only hauling loads for $5 a mile and that's it. And they would get paid to do it if everybody's on board. But see, that's the problem. And we can go back and see, and we can talk about the individuals they let in to this country, gave them licenses, and drive these trucks for pennies. We can even go to that conversation. And hopefully, we'll get back to real trucking and not give people licenses that don't deserve a license. Because all it does is ruin the industry. Because insurance rules. Insurance rules the trucking industry. No matter what, they rule it. Because if you lose your insurance, you cannot operate. Period. So they're the ones that control whether you're in business or not in business. Because they don't give you insurance unless you got several $1,000,000 that you can do your own policy. And still, those folks, even megas, have insurance to help back them when you get these mega lawsuits, right? Tens of millions of dollars. So they still have an insurance company. You know what they say about tourists? That's right. Toothless Mike. Yeah, remember Toothless Mike? One year, Keith will be laughing. This is before we had a two-up sled, a two-person sled. The wife was on the back of the Yamaha, and we go up over this overpass. And we go up the side, and there's a river. And remember, this is in the UP in January, end of January or so. And it's like below zero for months. And we go up, and she didn't lean the right way. And that sled started going over the edge. And I just said, jump, right? Jumped off the sled, landed in that little creek, that river. And it wasn't frozen. It was still running. So what kind of chemicals are rolling through that creek that didn't freeze? Right? So here we are. We land in that water. We stand up. Keith's back there. He's laughing. So I ain't going that way. And so he went through the river, made it through that. But there's a guy. We pull up to this driveway. There's a guy there, and we say we need to get back. We were soaking wet. He says, "Well, just follow me, man." He gets his sled out of the garage, gets on it, says, "I'll take you back there. I'll show you the shortcut, taking us through these woods, right off the trail, in the middle of the woods." And he says, "Man, what happens if they take us somewhere and we become tourists? Uh, you know, good for dinner." So say, well, it is what it is. We'll find out. No, he gave us a shortcut, saved us shoot a long time, probably an hour. But there's always good people up there. I lived up there for a long time. All right, so that's it. We're out of here. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button up there, the thumbs up, all that. If you didn't subscribe to this channel, go ahead and subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll try to get back in the algorithm because we're going to do more videos. I probably have, well, who Dana's text messaged me. Let's see what he says. How about the truck driver in Florida killed 3 people who couldn't read English or identify the road signs? Well, that's being talked about, right? Well, we can dive into that at a later time. Like I said, I got to get going because I have to go pick up someone. So we'll talk to you later, and we'll see you. We'll give you the concrete realm.